Everyone know what time it is? Yeah! That's right. It's time for a...
Yo, what up, guys? It's your boy Victor Santana. Another week of Dallas Beer Talk. We have Andrew to my left and Kirsty over there, and we have two special guests. We got Chad and Chris for Penny Colas.
Penny Colas.
Yep. They came and blessed us with their presents and some gifts.
The gift of beer.
The gift of beer.
Yes.
So we heard a little bit about their work process. So they wake up in the morning, drink beer, Facebook, and then that's how they start their day. Is that right?
There's a little bit of fact check right there. I mean, we have coffee first.
Excuse me, I forgot the coffee.
Right.
That's how I like to start my mornings too. A little coffee, a little beer.
Well, the beer wakes you up too.
Yeah. I think if you have like a nice coffee stout or something, that's considered coffee in the morning, right?
Yeah, or hops.
Yeah, or hops.
You know, I'm more of a hops fan. So
Yeah.
give me a good IPA at 4 a.m. and I'm good to go.
I heard you need hops. What's is that your favorite style? Some IPAs or what's y'all's favorite style of beer?
So each of us that works there has our own favorite style, but the two of us basically it's IPAs right now.
Some hopheads.
Yeah, we're drinking Sit Down or I'll Sit You Down, our Imperial IPA.
My first IPA I like, by the way.
Yeah,
Same.
Good. I
It's
love
delicious.
that.
Honor right there.
And it's a very, very well balanced, sneaky beer. So the hops balance well with the malt bill in there, and at 10% alcohol, you'll drink a few and then finally feel it. So
Yeah, I mean, I think with that beer, you really don't notice the bite of the alcohol a lot. You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of good beer.
No.
Good
My
beer.
problem with a lot of IPAs is it's just a lot of taste in the front end, you know? So you get bombarded right on your taste buds way
Yeah.
too fast, so you don't get the chance to like savor everything. This is pretty smooth, and you get hit on the back end.
yeah,
I don't know if that's what you
So
guys
this is
reaching
not a
for.
very. This is a very well balanced beer. The beers that you're talking about are not very well balanced. Actually, our bestseller, kind of our flagship beer, Velvet Hammer, has more bittering hops and is more bitter than this beer actually is. But yeah, this is an outstanding beer, and in the brew house we go through basically a keg a week of this, just drinking it between the brewers.
Nice.
That's called checking it to make sure it's okay for everybody else.
Quality
right?
control.
Quality control. There you
There it
go.
is, quality insurance.
QC
Yeah.
action.
But
Some QC.
Velvet Hammer, that was your guys' first beer. Am I correct on that?
Yes, it's
Kind
the
of took
first,
you guys off.
the first beer that went to market for us, and that beer itself, it was never intended to be a mainstay. Going into brewing beer, Pedicolis, the idea was we're not telling you what our core beers are going to be. The market will decide. It just so happened on our first beer, the market decided really quickly, and we had to,
Yeah.
in the end, make that a full-time beer.
Is it? It's a pretty strong beer too, I think, right? It's what?
It's at 9%,
something,
yeah.
But once again, it doesn't really taste like that. It is pretty smooth. I like bitter beers.
Yeah.
So to me, that's like the perfect balance right there.
Is the Velvet Hammer IPA as well?
Velvet Hammer is an Imperial Red.
That's what I was thinking.
So
'Cause I
it-
like that one too, but I didn't realize that was from you guys because I just had it for the first time last week.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that makes up roughly 50% of our sales.
Okay.
So it's outstanding to have a 9% Imperial Red Ale make up that much of a business.
Oh yeah.
So-
Yeah.
And for your first beer out, like that's a big ego boost for you guys.
Yeah, and five and
Right
a half
out the
years
gate.
later, it is still going strong.
We
Yeah,
are
that's
humble.
awesome.
We are humble people.
No, it's delicious. I went to a bar that I like to go to by my job called Social Pie, and I'm sitting there, and they had a happy hour where you could try every drink for like every beer for like smaller than these glasses
Yeah.
for $1.
Yeah.
Yeah, for $1 each, and then that was the second one, and I was like, actually, you can stop me right here. It was pretty good.
You should have kept on going with it. It's good.
No, because the first two was pretty delicious. I was talking about it last week, and I keep saying Caucasian.
Caucasian.
Yeah. I don't know why I keep saying it wrong.
He throws an R in there somewhere.
Yeah. It tastes like White Russians, and it's pretty good.
It's a seminar.
It's a silent thank you.
Definitely not hard R.
I have a story about White Russians and my father-in-law, but I probably shouldn't tell it on this
Oh.
radio.
It's up to you if you want to
There-
share it.
Started sharing it.
It's up to you.
No, no.
We call that a tease in the industry.
Yeah.
Hold on one second.
Wait till the next episode.
I have,
Yeah, there you
I have a good friend of mine. Andy just walked into the studio.
How's it
Hey,
going?
Andy.
What's going on?
Get this
You
man a
wanna go sit on
glass.
the couch, sir? Chat, you mind if I
You
get him-
thirsty?
Yeah, you thirsty?
He's like, it's a little warm
All right,
outside.
let me
parched.
pour you a beer.
Definitely.
Welcome,
definitely.
Andy. Welcome.
So tell us a little bit about your brewery. What makes you guys different from other breweries in the area?
There's many things that make us who we are. I don't want to say we're this and other breweries are that.
True.
No, you
Because
don't have
every brewery has their own style, their own business model, the way they do things.
Uh-huh.
For us, we're a mom and pop brewery. We started off small. We're still small despite the crowd that's gathered around our beer and the following that we've achieved throughout the last 5.25 years now. So for us, we like being small. Our brew system is small. We still stir our mash every single time by hand. There's
Really?
no rakes in our system. We use a thermometer to make sure that temperature is right. So if it's not right, you keep going and tire yourself out.
Oh, dang.
We empty our mash tun by hand every single time we brew a batch of beer.
Uh-huh.
So we're very, very manual. The only thing in our brew house that does the work for us is pumps, and that's just transferring wort, liquid, beer from one place to the next. We come from humble homebrew beginnings. Every person that works at our brewery didn't work at another brewery except for our sales guy. He came from St. Arnold. But everybody in production, we were homebrewers who just had a passion for doing it by hand, and that's all we've ever known. So
Hey, then you
Or-
can't complain. They're like, yeah, you don't know any better. You haven't had automated this
No,
or
but
that.
I think that's
so.
the best when you have the
Yeah.
passion for it. But for
Definitely.
someone to say you guys are humble or small, the moment I posted about you guys last night, I've been getting nothing but text messages all day. Like, I love their beers. I love their beers.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people out there who support you guys.
well, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Drink more of it because I need a raise.
Yeah, we're looking at close to 5,000 barrels this year, which is the equivalent of 10,000 full-size kegs.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
So that's kind of the pace we're on right now. And yeah, we do it all by hand. There's a small crew.
So you do work hard. Besides drinking beer in the morning, you guys do work hard.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Drink hard, work hard. It should be a motto over there.
it makes the beer taste better when you took more effort to make it. You
At the
know?
end of the day,
Definitely.
with
When,
love.
when
You
your
wanna
back
make sure
hurts
to-
and all your sweat is gone, the
Oh,
only
yeah.
thing
Hopefully not in the
replenishing-
beer.
It's a beautiful
it
thing.
adds
It adds more flavor into the beer.
Yeah,
That's
little
the brewer's
saltiness.
touch right there.
Really, it's
Yeah.
the definition of craft for us. You know,
Yeah.
like we do not get on a stand and press buttons and walk away and let the machines do their thing.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Our
That's
eyes
really
are
cool.
on it the entire time.
That's really
I
cool.
like that.
It
And-
causes what we call the brewery dreams, where your mind
Oh,
is so
gosh.
focused on the beer itself that every night you go home and you wake up like in the middle of a brewery nightmare where something's going wrong. Everyone gets it roughly around, I think, like 2 or 3
2 or 3,
months.
because
Oh,
I have
yeah.
the beer talk nightmares. Because last week I was talking about a movie and I misquoted an actress in it, and I woke up at 2 in the morning that same day and I text this guy. I was like, "Did I say this actress?" He was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
I was like, "I meant another actress." So
Just
I was wrong.
I thought you knew Meryl Streep better than that.
I did it. Apparently, I was so wrong. No, I think I said Zoe Deschanel, and I meant Rosario Dawson.
Yeah.
Oh,
For
totally
that.
Oh,
different.
come on.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Come on.
Big 180. Big 180.
Yeah, it was so close, so close. They're such the same person.
Ooh.
You know? No, am I wrong?
Yeah.
No,
You'll get some hate mail from them.
That's the alcohol talking.
So I gotta wake up. I wake up when I say things wrong all the time. So I understand thinking nightmares.
Yeah, I used to have nightmares all the time in my previous job.
What was that?
I was a teacher. I was a band
man.
director.
Oh,
Bless
Wait.
you, sir. Bless
yeah.
you.
But
That
then
was before
just
Gigolo.
yeah, yeah, there we go.
The movie?
But no, I had my first brewery dream a couple years ago, and it was like weird. I was brewing, and a pump went down. I started panicking, and then all of a sudden, I look out, and there's a crowd watching me brew. And I'm like, what's
Oh.
going on? And I go run to check the pump, and it's not where it should be, but instead I run down the toy aisle of Walmart. And the brewery is inside of a Walmart, and all of these people are like sitting there,
Oh, you know, and when you're having the dream, it's completely normal. You're like,
Oh,
oh,
it
yeah,
was.
yeah. It's like, okay,
Yeah,
okay, yeah, I'm
makes
in
sense.
Walmart now. Okay, we'll
It's
go
gonna
down
keep
here.
going. It's
wake
gonna
up
be
in
my
a
job.
sweat, and you're like, okay, good.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's
So,
an interesting dream.
yeah. So how do you guys come up with like different styles of beer? Who kind of makes you guys collectively kind of have your own ideas of styles you want to go for? How do y'all come up with new
Pretty
styles?
much for the whole existence of the company up till about, what did we say, 6 months ago or so?
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah, maybe a year ago. When was clandestine?
We'll call it the in-between.
Yeah.
It's been 8 months.
How many
Let's
beers
go
ago
8,
was that?
9. All of our beers were developed by Michael Peticolas,
Yeah.
our owner and brewmaster. They're all his recipes. He comes up with them. For the first year of our business, he did everything by himself
that's
with
great.
the help of volunteers. So he brewed all the beer, he kegged all the beer, he scrubbed all the floors and toilets, he delivered all the beer, collected from accounts, did everything by himself with the help of some volunteers.
And his wife. Shout out to Melissa Peticolas.
Yeah,
No,
don't
big
forget-
ups to
Oh,
both of
there
them.
you
They just talking to him through emails. He seems nice. I was telling that to Andrew today. I was
Yeah,
like, he
very
seems
down to earth.
nice.
Well, he seems nice. But, I'm kidding. No.
He's watching. He's watching.
Keep in mind he was an attorney before this.
Right.
Yeah,
You've
yeah.
got resident legal advisor.
so he
as
has
well.
some. He could get angry in there.
Hashtag HR.
right.
No, he's a great guy, but he did everything by himself for the first year of the business before hiring Chris, because he was the first employee actually
OG.
put on yeah, payroll. But yeah, so everything has been Michael's recipe, but now he's letting us start to develop new recipes and come up with stuff for ourselves, because we have our new tap room that we just opened in January. And so we have 17 different beers on tap at all times.
Oh, wow.
And so what we're having to do is, as brewers, come up with new recipes to put on tap just exclusively there to bring in more people.
Oh, nice. So you're
Yeah.
not saying you can only buy it here, you only get it here. Come see us.
Yeah,
I like
exactly.
that. Yeah.
So what hours are does the tap room open usually?
So our tap room, we've been open since January. We did our grand opening on actually New Year's Eve with our 5-year anniversary. Now we're open 4 days a week, Thursday and Friday from 4 to 10, Saturday from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m.,
Oh,
Sunday
wow.
from noon to 6. And
So I have room to come by and say hi.
yeah, actually, y'all should.
Yeah.
And it's great. You know, we have kind of this tri-level space. It's a really cool, early 1950s built warehouse that we turned into a tap room. So bottom floor, you walk in, we have like this merchandise room, some tables and TVs. Middle floor is our bar. And then top floor, we have like a game room. So you can play ping pong, do little foosball,
That's
some
weekend
shuffleboard.
spa right
Sounds
there.
awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds like a spot I could, after work, swing by and say
Yeah.
hi.
Right, yeah, and so that's actually what we do, you know, after we brew, we'll go drink some beer and play some ping pong. And actually, I want you to brag on yourself.
Well, I am the undefeated champion. That's not true at all.
Are you the Forrest Gump? Are you the Forrest Gump?
I am not, and only if I'm playing against myself. But so Michael Peticolas, we'll bring him up again. His name. He is the guy who just dominates everyone. If you happen to run into him in the tap room, and you want to play some pong, and you think you can take down the champ, play against Michael, because I think we've played at least 150 times. He'll call it 375.
He's like a running count. He's like, another one down.
I've got 3 W's under my belt, which is
Hey.
Hey.
which
That's a lot,
which,
apparently.
which saddens him greatly. But yeah, he's the best player, and then we all kind of just square off against each other to.
That sounds like fun, man.
Yeah,
It sounds like
no.
a good place to work.
We just need to switch our carears right here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So
Well,
you
just remember what happens in
Oh.
between the beer pong.
Yeah.
Or beer pong.
so you got pong,
The truth
beer
comes
pong.
out.
We've been guilty of beer pong,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
anyway.
Right now we're at a solo cup, so
Hey, that's a good problem to have. That's what I'm saying. Have
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So
But you
how-
work hard and then you play.
How
Right.
do you guys come up with the new flavors? You guys said he's now letting you individually come up with your own
Mm-hmm.
plans. Do you then have little competitions between each other in the company, where you just make your own brews and chase them and see?
That's a
who's
good
the
question,
favorite?
because unlike most breweries in DFW and even around the country, we don't have a pilot system. Okay, so usually when breweries come up and compete with new recipes, they have what's called a pilot system. So they will brew beer on a smaller scale, maybe 1 or 2 barrels, maybe 15 gallons.
Just to kind of test it out a little bit.
Yeah, and they'll get people's feedback and see if they can put it into full production, like 30-barrel mode. We don't have that. So anytime that we come up with a recipe, we'll sit and talk to each other. Hey, what do you think is good? What do you want in this beer? Here's the kind of style I want to make. But the first time that we ever brew it is going to be on our 15-barrel system.
Oh, wow.
So you're going all out.
Yeah, so 30 regular kegs. And luckily, everything's been pretty good. So, yeah.
Hey.
I mean, like you said, you guys
What's
are
the
home
least
brewers,
favorite
so-
beers you guys have made? Say the least favorite. It
that's-
has to be at least.
That's an unfair question.
It's like which one kid you like?
Which-
All-
what's your favorite child?
All our beers are made perfectly to style.
Okay.
Everyone has their preference. Like Chad said, he loves hops. He loves IPAs.
Yeah.
This is the first IPA
That
you
I like. Yeah.
So I think it's an unfair question to ask what's your least favorite beer because all of our beers are well done to style. It's just a matter of personal preference as to what.
Fair enough.
Like my favorite beer is called the Duke. It's our barley wine that's 12%,
Never had it.
which may be too much for some people.
It might be you showing me, telling me. Yeah, I got it.
Those
It
barley
doesn't
wines,
have too
man.
many hops in it. It's not big on hops. It's a full-bodied beer, but it's very well balanced front to back. It's like a paler barley wine.
Okay.
That sounds good.
And then like people come in the brewery that say, I only drink Bud Light, I only drink Coors. What do you have to match that? And that's okay because that just means you get a new person to teach about beer.
Definitely.
And for that, we have a beer called Golden Opportunity, which is that 4.5% ABV Kolsch. That is that easy drinking light beer, not too many hops. Just you can pound it and be like, that feels just like I had, only there's no rice or corn in it. So that's nice.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, I don't want to answer a question. What's my least favorite beer?
No, it's like asking a parent which kid you hate,
Right.
which you hate the most, or which kid you love the least. Parent. That's a very parent answer. I love them all differently.
Right.
They all
That's right.
at different times. I love.
I don't have kids, but I would say all of them.
We just don't like bad beer. If beer is bad, it's very obvious. We've had enough over the course of our years to where we know
Yeah.
that if there's an off flavor or the carbonation's too low or that line is dirty or there's too much crystal malt making it too sweet. There's certain flaws per style that will throw you off a beer if you can spot them. So that's what we're looking for. If a beer we
Okay.
make is to style, then it's like that's a good beer. Whether or not that's the beer we go to day after day is a different question. But as long as it's a good beer,
That's all that matters.
that's all that
So there's a lot of
Yeah.
QC involved, is what you're saying. A lot of quality
What's up,
control.
Ziggy?
Because of the different production processes for each type, which do you think is the most difficult to perfect?
Good question.
For us, it's probably higher alcohol beers. So a beer that's 12%, that yeast is going to have a harder time fermenting out that beer. So the only time we've been maybe stuck on a style is where we make a big beer and the yeast get introduced and then all of a sudden it's fermenting, and then
Settles.
it'll stop. Right? It'll be like, okay, we give up. We're done.
Yeah.
But then if the yeast doesn't finish its job, the beer remains too sweet. And if it's too sweet, then it's not palatable, and then you have to put it down the drain. So high alcohol beers, more stress on the yeast. And yeast that's number one in beer. You can produce all the sugar water you want, wort, but when yeast get introduced, if that yeast doesn't finish its job and it doesn't have the right amount of health to it to get through that beer, you're stuck and there's nothing you can do.
What? See, this is how ignorant I am because I would have figured sugar water and yeast like half and half would have to play equal parts. But apparently, I don't know shit about brewing.
Well, no, yeah, but they all equal well, And unlike a lot of breweries, we use one yeast strain for all of our beers, except for 2 beers that we've done. So everything from our 4.6% Kolsch, Golden Opportunity, all the way up to the 12% Duke, the barley wine. We use the same strain of yeast. Started off that way because we can have a consistent flavor profile coming from the yeast, kind of a neutral yeast that we use. And then also it saves us money because that yeast reproduces and then we can, use it for multiple generations throughout the line. But
Do you guys ever have to diversify the yeast at all? You're saying you can go for multiple generations, but doesn't it kind of wear out?
yeah,
after a
it
while?
does. And that's a great point. So yeast works like a family tree. Okay, so you start with first generation, it'll go off into 3 other second generations, and those will go into 3 more times 3, and just down like that. But what we found with our yeast is it likes to, if we go to a low alcohol to high alcohol, then we want to, kind of back it off and go to low alcohol or low gravity type beer for that, just so it doesn't get so stressed.
Yeah.
Because when the yeast gets stressed, it starts, like Chris said, it starts producing off flavors and, will lag out.
Yeah. So you're saying with the higher alcohol, how it stresses the yeast, is that a matter of lack of yeast, or just the fact that it's too much sugar for them to consume and make the alcohol byproduct?
Well, the environment that fermentation produces is for a high alcohol beer, more alcohol. More
Yeah.
alcohol will stress out the yeast during
Gotcha.
fermentation. So
I see what you're saying.
yeah, so everything starts off great. We make sure we bring in the healthiest yeast to go into a high alcohol beer, but in the end, yeast is a single-celled organism that it's like, oh man, get off me.
It's like, I'm tired of working. I'm drunk now.
That's right.
I'm seeing y'all are pretty much out of beer.
I've been waiting.
Yeah.
So we have this new
definitely.
beer that you guys came out this Thursday or last
It's
Thursday?
coming out today.
Coming out today.
Yeah,
Yes.
so we're
So
releasing
4th.
this beer in the tap room.
Just wanna-
I'm going to
So
pour
what is it
myself.
called?
In about 30 minutes, this will go out to the public, whoever stops by our brewery. So if you're listening, swing by today and
Definitely stop by the new
catch
tap
release.
room.
And here's the question: how long did it take you guys to think up this one?
Well, whose glass is this?
I'll
This
drink
is
that.
Victor's.
Yeah.
That's not mine. Is that mine?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
that's
yours.
That's not mine. Get out of here.
You
No.
got, come on, you
Mine
got
was
to the rest of
completely
that.
empty.
No, that was yours.
We're particular.
We do not want to mix style here. You're not going to get the good taste.
Yeah, for this beer, we basically wanted a session IPA. Session meaning low ABV. It allows Chad to get his hops while at the same time,
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah, keeping his mind right.
There you go. I'm with you on that. I'm so with you on that.
This beer, you may, if you don't like IPAs, this one may be a little too much for you, but you're going to say you like it anyway. I know you will.
This one, I love it. I love it.
I think it's like my new favorite
on Twitter
IPA.
later, but
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now.
But this is Crush It. It's a session IPA, 5.3% ABV. It's got
So it's one of the lower ones.
right. It features Amarillo and Eureka hops. Amarillo is more of
I
a
was gonna say, what's Amarillo hops? Never heard of it.
Amarillo is more of a citrus fruit forward hop, while Eureka is a pure dank resinous herbal spicy hop.
So I hear the
Nice
second.
smell
I
to it.
smell the second one.
Yeah, so essentially you're taking two hops that are polar opposite, bringing them together to play in harmony and
Yeah.
provide enough body
actually
to it.
Really good. It has a
Very
good
tasty.
bite to it. I would.
So,
So salud. Well, let's everybody drink this. Try it. Andy, Ziggy.
I'm still gonna
cheers.
sit down. I'm being responsible today.
you're driving, right?
Uber.
Yeah.
There you go.
Very tasty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I
so-
like stouts. By the way.
Good.
Solid transition.
Once again, shameless plug for people who are listening.
Go right ahead.
In the tap room tonight, our Imperial Stout is called Black Curtains. Okay, so we'll have that 2 ways tonight. We'll have that, the regular version, and then every Tuesday on Twitter, Michael Peticolas puts out a cask battle. So he'll
saw
put
that.
out a Twitter poll of 2 different casks, and so what's going to be tapped on Thursday. So what the battle was our Golden Opportunity, our Kolsch, with some juniper berries in it, and then, there you go. And then Black Curtains, which is our Imperial Stout with coffee.
Oh man.
So,
Coffee from where?
Imperials.
coffee
like
from
the coffee.
Aura Coffee out in Denton.
Oh, so everything's local.
We try to keep as local as we can.
All of our spices come from Pendry's, a spice shop directly next to the brewery.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's
Very
keep
nice.
everything Texas.
Yeah.
Shout out to Texas. But so I'm gonna definitely try that Imperial
Yeah.
Stout. I like stouts, but I just wanted to take more time to taste this. What's the name of this one again?
This is called Crush It.
The Crush It.
Crush It.
I'll tell you this. It tastes good. It's smooth. It doesn't. It's not harsh like other IPAs I was mentioning earlier.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, I probably wouldn't buy this one. It's just for me because I don't like IPAs. But
Sure. Yeah.
but it's not. It's not that it's. I have a problem with it. If you would have poured me this drink, or
Yeah.
if Andrew was to buy me this drink, or someone would drink it at a bar party or anything, I would drink it. It's not bad. It's smooth.
Well, that's funny
I like
that
it.
you say that because our earlier beer, you were really digging on.
I love that
Oh,
one.
man.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's an imperial version, which is like a double version. This is kind of a lighter version to where the hops really come out. And so probably the reason you don't like it or won't buy it out is because it's not as malty balanced,
Okay.
if you will. And there's more of that floral and citrusy flavor on the backbone coming from the hops
Okay.
that are not necessarily counteracted or balanced with the grain.
Oh, and I can taste that citrus. I love it.
You get the grain on the back.
Yeah.
We need to
But
get this
that-
man a microphone.
No, by all means, you have a mic right there. You want to talk about it, Andy?
No, I am an IPA drinker, and I would buy the good balance because
Wait, say it on the mic.
some that you drink have a little bit too much citrus. It's like they're trying to overboard it and almost mix orange juice in it.
Right.
This has just the right balance of
Thank you.
I would
Okay,
buy
good,
this.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
You're not all lost. It's not all just
No,
victory.
but what I'm learning from this is this. I'm learning a style of beer I like because what Chris had mentioned earlier, I drink Dos Equis,
Sure.
Heineken. That's
Sure.
the only beer that I
Yeah.
usually drink. And that's the premise of the show. Andrew loves different types of beers. He loves trying new things, and he likes different tastes. So the premise of the show is me and Kirsty just love simple beers and alcohol.
Oh, I
And
love
we like
it,
to
yeah.
talk
Just trying to break them into the craft beer game. if you
so
will.
Yeah.
as we've been doing this for 2 months now. As I'm growing, I'm learning what type of beer I like. So
Yeah.
as I'm learning from you guys here, I'm learning more. I do like IPAs, but
Yeah.
different type of IPAs I like. You know.
So then it's funny. We'll get people coming in the tap room and saying, "I don't drink beer. I'm a wine drinker. I drink vodka all the time.
All the time.
All the time."
It's vodka, never anything else.
Is it your wife or my wife? No, too soon.
No names.
Love you. But we'll get those kind of people coming in all the time. And, I don't want to give them the kind of beer that tastes like beer. So usually I'll give them something really flavorful. I'll give them a Duke, which has a lot of honey notes to it and is a lot lighter. And I'll give them, when it's in season, our Winter Vention, which is a winter spiced ale, 10%,
Oh,
with some cinnamon, allspice, nutmeg, and ginger.
That sounds
So-
delicious.
But it just depends, A lot of people don't like beer because they haven't had
Good beer, right?
handcrafted beer or become accustomed to it.
Well, and learn all the different types. It's like Chris was saying earlier, it's really depending on what you like. And not many people understand that there's a wide range of variety
sure,
on the types
sure.
of beers that are out there.
Yeah.
They all think it's the nasty, bitter thing that they tasted when they were 13.
The Bud
and
Light,
they
the
just
Coors
spit it
Light,
out.
right.
Yeah.
You know,
Whatever Grandpa gave you.
Yeah.
the Natty Lights. You know, Nickel
Smirnoff Ice.
Smirnoff Ice.
Zima,
Ice.
Zima in the house.
Mad Dog 2020.
Oh, man. That'd be worth some money on eBay. I think.
Oh, my
Buy some
God.
Zimas.
And I think we all came into beer a different way.
Yeah.
My story was like I went to college. I did my first year at UNT.
Graduated from there. Love UNT.
Yeah, cheers.
Fry Street, Nickel Natty Nights.
Yeah. And so I didn't drink much up there. I probably shouldn't say this. I worked at Applebee's in Louisville at the time, waiting tables, closed down the restaurant.
34, was it 30?
30, 40 round grow. Yeah. We'd have a beverage or whatever, if you will.
A drink.
But then that was
Just one.
basically it after the shift. And then we go out with friends. Then I went to LSU down in Baton Rouge. I transferred. And so my first year down there, it was all rum for me. And like daiquiris and mixed drinks
heart.
like that. Yeah.
My heart, I love it. I love it already.
Second year down there, my junior year of college, went to a restaurant called The Chimes. And they had this thing called Around the World in 60 Beers. And so I'm like, all right, I want to do it. So then I start trying and really getting into beer and figuring it out. And, at that time, being from Texas, Shiner and Ziegenbach were the big thing. So at every party, I would bring those in. Now I haven't had those beers in like forever.
Oh, yeah.
But, everyone's got their own story.
Every week here.
Yeah.
Shiner, that's my love right there.
And I will say, as far as IPAs go, it's a weird thing how the palate changes over time. So my wife,
My wave.
my wife, she couldn't stand IPAs whenever I first brought them in. And like she's like, "Why do you keep putting IPAs in the kegger? Why do you keep putting IPAs in the kegger?" The question was asked every week because That's how fast we went through a keg.
Good to know. I need to hang out this man right here.
And eventually she was like, "Ooh, I like this one." So the palate changes over time. Usually the person who doesn't like an IPA eventually does.
You start to appreciate the different aspects of it for sure.
Right. So
Yeah. So I just need to force feed them IPAs all day
Yeah.
until they are in love.
No, I tell you this.
put them in a hamster wheel with a little water bottle.
Just keep trying different drinks. No, what I do appreciate from definitely looking at local craft beers, because that's another thing we want to do is drink local craft beers
Good.
here.
Thank you.
Is I love from talking to people is the passion for it, and even though it's not something I immediately would buy myself,
Yeah.
but I could taste the passion. I could taste what
Good.
what you guys are trying to do, and I could appreciate that it does taste good. I'm not saying, even though I say I wouldn't buy this IPA myself, but it tastes great.
Yeah.
It's smooth. It doesn't
Yeah.
hurt. It doesn't, like I was mentioning earlier. For most IPAs, it doesn't hit me in my face in
Right.
the beginning.
Yeah.
Right.
Is it, again similar to the other one earlier? Sit you down. What? Stand up or sit you down?
Sit down or I'll sit you.
Oh, sit down or sit down. I'm fucking sitting the fuck down right now. Is that
This
it?
guy's in trouble. Cut him off.
Sat me down.
It sat me the fuck down. No, that you get the back end of it. You're gonna get the flavor of it,
Yeah.
but it's not too much up front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like cooking. When you don't want too much flavor or too much spices up front. You want to ease it in when you get in spices and stuff like that. So I do appreciate it. I could taste it. You know?
Good.
So I like it. It tastes great.
Good.
But as
You're gonna be our project.
I'm down to try it.
Help me out here, guys. Help me
Everyone
out
needs
here.
a project.
Yeah.
I am down.
So I had a question. I'm curious. So I know you guys have all the brews you guys put on tap and stuff like that for the tap room. Do you guys ever have like just kind of home brews or just do you have any like rare ones that you guys only share amongst the brewers? What are some cool beers?
Well, that's the funny part about becoming a professional brewer.
Uh-huh.
Your home brewing
Becomes
kind of stops.
oh
If you
okay.
try to explain to your wife on a Sunday morning, like, listen, I got to go knock out this this 8-hour brew in the backyard. Be ready for a conversation. Right?
Yeah.
But the kids need
The
lunch.
kids, that's the only way they'll learn.
It's a trade off. It's a trade off.
Yeah. So as far as recipe development goes, we've kind of learned how our system works. We know what beer styles are, so we can design a recipe around that style. So now our homebrew system, like Chad was saying earlier, is our 15-barrel brew house.
Oh, okay.
So we
It's
basically
the wee brewing.
right.
We.
There it is. There it is.
So essentially, we've taken
We've.
taken everything that we've learned from Michael coming in as homebrewers into this game, and learned to dial it back. You don't have to go dogfish head every single time. You don't have to take 37 different hop varieties. You don't need 20 different ingredients going into a beer. If you keep it simple and clean, you can make a really good beer that's not so muddled and all over the place. So
No,
we've
that's,
taken that philosophy and made it our own, and now we're brewing beer that way.
Hey.
I think
Not
I
at
can
home.
definitely tell that with the five beers now that I've had from you guys. They're all strong. They have a bunch of strong flavors in there, but they all come together so
Yeah.
well. And I would like to think that's because you guys started out as home brewers. You just have
Appreciate the aspect.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I mean, I think it's delicious, and it's very rare that I try out somebody's beer that I like several different beers from them.
Yeah, definitely.
It wouldn't be on the streets if not the streets. That's kind of a bad
On the streets,
Y'all want to buy
kids.
some
In
beer?
the
You wanna
market.
need some beer?
You know, there's a
We saw them
guy
hiding in
outside
some
trying to get money for
cardboard.
Dare.
Yeah. We thought, why not? We
Got the
need
itch,
someone.
got the itch.
So yeah, y'all finish up on those. I'm going to get some more glassware. Don't
perfect.
kill them if you want.
No, I'll-
we're going to pour the next one. We're going to do some
okay.
good call.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Good call.
Tell us about Good
Yeah,
Call. What
tell us,
what style we got going on here?
So Good Call is our version of the summer ale. So really what we wanted was a nice, clean, light, crisp beer. Granted, this is Petticola's Brewing Company, so it's 6.3 ABV.
Okay.
Because we like the fuller body and all the flavor that
And
comes
that's why I
with
like
it.
you guys.
A little more
I
than
like
the
full
session.
body.
Yes,
Right.
definitely.
So this beer, like I was talking about how we get our spices locally. This beer has ginger in it from Pendry's. So we take some fruity hops, combine it with the ginger, and then a nice light malt backbone.
And you said this was one of your newer beers as well?
Right. So
Sorry.
this will be hitting the market full time in about 2 weeks. There may be a couple kegs that you'll find around town before then, but. So look at that color. See, isn't that
This is
appealing?
like, this my kind of beer already.
Yeah.
This is for simple folks, simple beer drinkers, I should say, not simple folks.
People breaking into the game.
This is the beer you go for. This is like a Dos Equis lager or simple beers you buy at like
In
Kroger's,
color-wise.
Well, no,
Walmart.
so you're making that
Yeah.
analysis based on the
color.
The
visual.
color.
Yeah,
Yeah.
color. I'm just saying. That's what it looks like. I'm not
So-
tasting it yet. I haven't
so
tasted
put,
it yet.
Put it to your nostrils.
Let us try. Let us
Yeah,
Go deep into it.
smells good.
Become one.
become one with the beer.
And one with the force.
Come on with it here.
It is May 4th.
It's definitely a summer beer. I think
That's
this
good.
would be
Delicious.
the
That is
beer
fucking
pong beer
delicious.
right here.
This is what you want.
real
Yes, beer
smooth.
pong. Yeah, everybody want to drink this. This is
Remember, we're out of solo cups. So.
Yeah.
this is the reason why.
We play with Petticoat's glassware.
Yeah.
And we put
Oh my. Oh, logo. I got you.
There we go.
Listen.
on camp, so logo out.
I'll go out. No. This is a beer I'll drink. This is a beer
Definitely.
I will buy every time. This is kind of my style
So
of beer.
We all covered.
this is
Yeah.
so this has higher ABV than the IPA session we were just drinking.
That's right. Yeah.
Wow, really?
Very
You wouldn't
surprising.
you wouldn't think so just tasting the
Well,
beer.
the hops are toned down.
Okay.
So with this beer is also dry hopped. If you want to talk about what dry hopping is,
Go ahead.
dry hopping is essentially taking a finished fermented beer and adding more fresh hops
On top of it.
on top of it. So essentially, all you're getting is aroma and a little bit of flavor that goes along with it. So this is massively dry hopped. The Crush It is massively dry hopped. The Good Call is not dry hopped whatsoever. So it's got a big layer of flavoring hops, the ginger at the end, as well as a larger aroma addition. But post fermentation, it's not
Dry
touched
hopped
with
on top.
hops. Right.
So when you talk about aromas, what I was trying to talk about before was glassware. So versus drinking a beer out of just the bottle, straight out of the bottle, versus sometimes I feel snooty asking for some glassware when I get a beer.
Don't
What
feel
do-
that way.
I don't. I deep down, I really don't. I don't care. But so, what can you guys say about the difference about glassware? What does that do for the beer?
Well, you taste beer three ways. Okay, first way is you look at the beer. You can't look at the beer in a bottle, right? It still might taste good, but you don't get the full effect of seeing the clarity, of seeing the color, of seeing that effervescence, of seeing the head that develops on top. So first off is you got to see the beer. Second is obviously aroma. What do you get off the head? You're not going to get a great aroma sticking your nose inside of a little bottle to try to smell it and figure out what hop character or malt character is coming out in the nose of the beer. And the third way is the taste, on your mouth.
That makes sense.
So going in, and all of those three things go into the total experience of the beer. And we really try to think about that when we, design a beer, taste a beer, put a beer into market.
That
Yeah.
makes most sense to me. 'Cause I'll tell you this, I got more excited just by the color of it. And
Yeah.
I was just talking about
Yeah.
that for
Yeah.
a good 20 seconds about how it looks like beers I like.
Right.
Yeah,
And I got
say,
excited.
Right.
You don't
You know?
necessarily
Right.
try to take note of it. You
Versus the darker
subconsciously
amber,
know. Yeah. Typically, I do like kind of the more amber. And honestly, depending on what I'm looking for, if I'm playing beer pong, this is the beer I would drink. If I'm looking for a real quick beer, but if I'm looking to kind of drink on it and enjoy the flavors, I would have picked your newest beer. Well,
They're both new. They're
yeah,
both
I was about
new.
to say, wait, this is both your new. So Crush It, I would have picked Crush It for sure.
that's a strong beer to place more.
When you spoke
Yeah.
to the IPA, talked about spoke to gaining a taste for them. But I go to a bar with my wife and I taste beer for her because she's like, you have to tell me what I'm going to I'd say the previous beer I would have enjoyed, but it wouldn't have been for her. This one, the drier hop,
Yeah.
she would have drank
Yeah.
this.
I mean, this is the beer for kind of everybody. I think it's a nice middle ground.
All of we.
No, this is a beer. The moment you guys start pumping this out, where I could buy it in stores, I am going to
You
get
have a
it.
kegerator?
I'm gonna get it. I was talking about this earlier. I was talking about this earlier with I don't know if I was talking with Andrew or somebody else. If I just get a keg and a pump, I'm just gonna go start getting beers like that for myself.
Oh, don't do that.
Oh gosh, you're hurting us right now.
We just entered a new segment
Doug.
of the show.
What happened? What happened? What'd I do? What'd I do?
So when you use one of those pumps, you're introducing oxygen to the beer. So
Yeah,
it's
by
like-
the end of it, it's flat. Yeah.
yeah. So the next day, it's ruined. So have some.
How do you do it? How do I?
So what you need to do is either go buy a kegerator, or
That's
just
a
go-
real thing.
Yeah.
You'll fuck with me.
Yeah. No, Chris and I both have kegerators at our house, dual tap, built-in type things, and
It's a party at y'all's house.
yeah, let me know.
My
I live just east of the Arboretum. Come
There
on,
you go.
by.
You guys like changing diapers? Come on over.
my uncle has
I've
the
got,
same
I've got an
thing, and
8-month-old,
it does
so yeah,
make a
definitely.
huge difference.
I got
Yeah.
the experience.
Yeah, because you introduce oxygen to the
You
beer.
gotta pump it, yeah.
Hand pump. You have to drink that beer in the whole night. You have to drink that keg right then. Otherwise, that beer is dying. Same thing with like bottles that sit on the bottom shelf of a Kroger or something like that for 6, 8, 10 weeks. It's degrading because the light gets to it. Those hops die down, and you're not going to drink the same beer as the brewer intended. So all of our beer is just keg only. That's the
smart.
only way you can get it.
That's smart because, you always hear the people say, like, oh, get it in bottle or draft. It always tastes better on draft.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you're getting it kind of how you want the brewers to,
Exactly.
pass it off. So,
As long as the lines are clean.
right.
That is facts. That's facts.
So I hate to go back to something that was so long ago, but you mentioned this around the world in 60 beers, and I was wondering, how does beer making around the world inform how you go about choosing flavors or brews?
Well, us as a brewery, we are really a classically
20 minutes.
styled brewery. All of the beers that we brew at Petticolas Brewing are two style, or a classically styled. So if you drink an IPA from us, if you drink a brown ale, if you drink an English pale ale from us, if you drink a Belgian triple or a Belgian strong dark,
You know the Belgian you guys have?
we want those to be perfect examples, or as close to perfect as we can, as that style is, based on the BJCP, which is the Beer Judge Certification Program. So yeah, when my wife's calling. I'm not going to answer. What was the question? Got distracted. So yeah, we try to stick to that as close as possible, and we don't experiment too much with variants and styles. This beer right now that we're drinking, the Good Call, is a little bit of a variant because we put some ginger in there. There's not a whole lot of beer styles that are registered to have beer with ginger, gold medal. We don't,
And it's delicious.
there's not one of those. Yeah, and it's outstanding.
Oh, yeah. Very
But
drinkable.
generally what we're known for is very, very well balanced beers, and we want to do that as much as we can.
Yeah, and on that, when you're talking about beers around the world, the biggest thing there is yeast, right? So a Belgian style yeast is going to give you a lot of different flavors in a beer that an American yeast, a Cali yeast, will not give you. So a bunch of esters that are produced, whether it's banana, clove, things like that. So that's kind of what defines those styles. Luckily, nowadays we have labs, several labs throughout the United States that take these cultures of those specific yeasts and manufacture it essentially for brewers. So if you're saying, I'm making a Belgian beer, give me your Belgian Trappist. That strain of yeast is literally from a Belgian monastery
The monks.
that the lab got hold of and then manufactured in large quantities for breweries.
So it's on some level, it's file sharing for beer production.
Very expensive file share.
Very expensive. yeah.
Sure. The monks are like, pay me, and you can have some of this yeast.
Yeah, Monk, what are you gonna do with that money?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do with that money?
Yeah, there's not a lot of black market unless you're like going and getting a bottle of Chimay and like scraping the yeast from the bottle of it and
Right.
growing it yourself, which is a lot of work. It makes no sense for a large scale production batch.
True that.
Home brewers have at it though.
There's a lot of when people hear like hops and they hear yeast, but I think a lot of people don't realize there's so many different types of hops. There's so many different types of like yeast strains and stuff, if you will.
I think I think, I mean, I don't want to jump in and attack this. I think that's a lack of knowledge of biology itself.
Yeah.
If there's different strains of fungus and stuff like that within the same family.
Mhm.
It's just not a lack of knowledge or understanding what's biology 101 for the common people. So yeast have different colonies.
It's just like evolution.
Yeah, but what I want to ask is, what are some of like for the hops? What are some of like you have different ones that are the main ones. I say main ones. There's different ones that have different kind of flavor profiles,
Right.
if you will, right?
Right.
So like a mosaic,
Sure.
stuff like that. What are some of the ones that have different flavors?
So basically, you're looking, there's a hop flavor wheel that you can look at that the manufacturers will give you. So, one big quarter is like earthy. One big corner is like piney. One is like fruity. One is like floral. And they all kind of intermix for the different varietals. And especially nowadays, the hop farmers are coming up with so many different varieties. They're cultivating their cross-pollinate. They're doing like hybrids of different ones. Right now, this one has an experimental hop in it. 06277.
297.
Oh,
0629. It doesn't.
So close.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Semantics.
In the end,
Yeah.
it's an experimental hop that basically they cross-pollinated several different hop varieties and came up with a new one. And they go through this long, arduous process to make sure it's resistant to like downy mildew and all these things that'll ruin the plant.
Oh,
So once they reach the large scale of production, that's when we get a hop like this.
So it's starting to sound more and more like Michael Petticolas is a mad beer scientist in some way.
This is
There's-
hops. When we're talking about hops, there's the growers in Washington, Oregon that grow these hops.
I was going to find that question. Where is the hops at? Where's the growers at? Is it Oregon?
Usually Pacific Northwest. If you're buying American hops, Pacific Northwest.
But I do want to clarify, Michael Petticolas is a mad scientist.
Yeah, he is. He really is.
By any chance, can we get that hop wheel here? So when we try beers, we can
Yeah,
change
let's
it?
do it. Let's do it.
We have,
And
we have
then
Google. We have Google.
Right, there you go.
Put it
He'll
up
pull it
there.
up.
Ziggy could get all information, but I was still
Yeah,
like
they're-
I like the premise of a wheel being here.
Literal
Yeah.
real.
Spin it.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Just turn it. Like I like this hop right here.
It's an idea. So I had a question. So I know Michael is he's practiced law for a while before the brewery and stuff like that. I saw that there's some ongoing litigation with anti-craft beer laws in Texas.
Yeah.
So I was just curious, what is that about, and where is that going? What are the laws that were
So
created?
there's two big ones right now that are ongoing. One is for what's called off-premise sales. So right now, Petticolas Brewing Company, if you were to come to our tap room, drink a couple beers, and say, hey, I want to fill a growler, you couldn't do that legally with us.
Really?
Because we operate under a manufacturing brewer's license. So that is out of the ballpark. That's one that actually Deep Ellum Brewing Company is taking on right now with a couple other guys. So they're fighting for the thing of manufacturing breweries being able to sell to regular people, I want to say.
Just people.
Just people.
What's the law like? What they're saying? What's the law against you doing that? Like, what's the
It goes, I mean, those Texas laws go back, they're called blue laws, right? Which is why you can't buy liquor on Sunday, which is why you
Bible
can't buy
Belt.
beer off a certain, time or whatever. So yeah, that's one law. The fact that manufacturing breweries can't sell beer to go.
Okay.
If we were to operate under a brew pub license, then you could do it. But then we couldn't distribute our beer throughout DFW like
Gotcha.
we do, as much as we do. The next law is distribution law, which is our lawsuit against the state of Texas. And let me look at my notes real quick. Basically, what it is if we sign with a distributor, which we self-distribute all of our own beer, then they could then sell the rights to other distributors to our beer, and we would get no money for it, type thing.
Okay.
So,
But we can't sell our rights to the distributor in the first place. as well.
right.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, wow.
That makes no
So,
sense.
It's a thing, and it's politics.
Yeah.
I don't generally get involved in politics, but right now, it's in the appellate courts, should conclude in the next 45 days or so, and then he wrote me a lot of other legal
We can
jargon.
have Michael call in if you got another hour.
Yeah.
Next week episode.
Next weekend, we
Yeah,
can have
girl.
Michael on. You guys are welcome at any time.
Yeah.
Any beers you want us to try and drink, bring it on. We would love you guys to have you back. But yeah,
we
that's
need to have
something-
Michael
Yeah.
on here next and
We
have
definitely
him
want
talk
to
Yeah.
keep
some,
posted about these lawsuits.
yeah.
Definitely want to keep posted about these lawsuits. This is something again I'm getting into understanding craft beer. I'm getting into
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
just reading a little bit about the history about the litigation, it's like that makes no sense. Why would you do that? Why would you have local craft
Well,
beers
and all
do
the
that?
state laws,
Right.
because I'm from Oklahoma and we have all
Ah,
types of
you're a
laws
girl from
against you
Oklahoma.
guys. Yes.
Okay.
So I didn't drink beer until I moved here. Oklahoma beer is pretty non-existent. So it's
Yeah.
like 3.2% right there.
Yeah.
And then when I moved here is when I started drinking beers, and we have all types of laws against craft
Right.
breweries. And when I moved here, it was kind of at the time where things were kind of starting to open up. Craft
Yeah.
breweries became more popular.
And it's all like
It's a power struggle.
federal,
Yeah.
power struggle,
Outdated stuff.
the
going
big
with the
three
new-
trying to buy out congressmen and all that stuff.
There was a congresswoman in Houston that was.
Hold on one second. Hold on, Andy. Say it on the mic.
Into the mic.
There was a congresswoman in the Houston area that was backing up a couple of distributors that would limit the amount of barrels that craft brewers could distribute,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
And if I remember correctly, San Antonio papers, Austin papers, Dallas papers were all basically saying, mind your own business, stay out of my beer.
Yeah.
And in fact, it came out that she had actually taken donations from a couple of the distributors, which
Yes.
which
We can
remain
neither
nameless.
confirm nor deny this.
Yeah.
Whatever happened?
It's been
with that?
theorized.
Did they crush her proposal?
Yeah. That's basically, it hasn't passed yet, as far as I know. Which is,
It got shut down pretty quick.
Yeah.
Like, it was
Thank you, Andy.
proposed and then down.
so basically, if that was to go through, then we would not survive right now.
But in the end, as surrogates of Michael Pedicolis, I will say that we have no legal opinion on the matter.
There you go. That is a very,
That was a very
that
lawyer
is a very
thing.
lawyer thing to say.
And
Yeah,
their
having a
opinions do
lawyer.
not affect the opinions of Dallas Beer Talk or their affiliate DallasOnAir.com.
That was right.
Yeah, I am learning a lot. Honestly, man, listen.
We need to stop by the brewery. I think everybody needs to go to the tap room.
We're going there right
Yeah.
now.
Which is
So,
open to
we're running live right now.
Take the
4
private jet
to
all the way
10,
down to
correct?
40 miles down the road.
That's what
It's,
took you guys so long to find that landing strip.
The tap room is open tonight from 4 to 10. Is that correct?
Yes, 1301 Pace Street in the Dallas Design District, right off of Manufacturing and Irving Boulevard, right behind the Anatole Hotel.
Oh,
off of
yeah.
35. So,
well
And,
placed.
and pay attention to what we post on social media, Facebook, Twitter, about future events. Usually Thursdays we have something good going on. I believe there's a cupcake pairing in the future. Courtesy of
We
Joe
will
Jameson.
be there.
Yeah.
Yes.
I am a very skinny man, so you know.
We need them cupcakes.
Oh, and we started doing glass nights as well. So what's our next glass?
so our next glass night coming up, I believe it's a sit-down glass night.
I believe so, Tim.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you have a
Wait,
date on
weekday?
that?
What's going on here? What?
Thursday. It's
Thursday.
they're always on Thursdays. Yeah, just follow our social media and we'll post the
Like them on Facebook.
Yeah.
We will, as those information pops up, we will definitely share it on Dallas Beer Talk Facebook page and Instagram.
Yeah.
Keep you guys posted. What's going on?
We are working on getting like a mobile setup going, so
Okay,
that we
sweet.
can hopefully try to do some mobile,
Yeah.
on location
So,
stuff. So,
just like
maybe
you
one of
said.
these days we can go out there and
We will definitely come out promote
live cast from over there.
your brewery. What we want to do is once we get those set up where we can record mobilely, go by with you guys hopefully and go about areas you have, the beers you have. Just talk about the brewery yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Similar to what we're doing
Do
now,
a,
just quick commercial.
Do a live cast tour if that's possible.
Yeah, let's do
Yeah.
that. That'd be great.
That would be sweet.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
We got some big plans going on down the pipeline for ourselves and people we want to work with.
So
we'll
we
make
got
it super interactive. You can take the mash to now.
Now I feel like you're punting.
I don't
off.
want to ruin it. I don't want to ruin it.
That's a Tom Sawyer there. Paint the whitewash the fence there. That's good. You know,
There's always
just try it.
scrubbing to
It's
do.
fun.
Let's make it super interactive.
I can do the scrubbing. I don't want to ruin a barrel by making
Right.
like anything else. I'll scrub the end product.
I don't want to burn any calories.
I need to burn some calories.
What's Michael's favorite beer?
So he's kind of torn between a couple that we have right now, and his original favorite was or is still, I believe, Royal Scandal. So that's our classic English style pale ale. First year that he was in business, or we won a gold medal at GABF, Great American Beer Festival in Denver, in 2011 for that beer.
Nice.
And so it's absolutely delicious. We brought some. We'll try it in a minute.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We're definitely gonna drink it.
Fair action.
No, but that's his, I think, all-time favorite. He also loves, sit down, and then also the
I'm not a stout fan.
Crush It.
I'm not hearing a stout fan. I'm disappointed.
well, Michael, also loves the Crush It that's coming out,
Yeah.
tonight. But the stout, Black Curtains.
It was an anniversary beer. It was a very important beer in our lineup. So
Yeah.
we're talking. That was the 2-year.
Who came up with the stout?
That was
then?
2-year.
Yeah.
What's that?
Who came up with the stout beer? Like the guys you guys have.
That was Michael.
That was
Michael
Michael.
Petticolas.
We also have another beer called Turn Out the Lights, which is on the T-shirt. That was our 5th anniversary beer. So 2 of the 5 anniversary beers have been stouts. So we do not neglect the style for sure.
Yeah.
No.
So where can people go to get
Yes,
some
where?
Peticola at Petticola's Brewing?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, go to the tap room, 1301 Page Street.
Those 2 stouts, the only place
4
to
to
get
10.
it is
They
at
will
the brewery.
be
All the
releasing
anniversary beers.
the Crush It tonight in just 4 minutes. The tap room opens and they will have Crush It.
Yes.
And I would
Ready
say
to go.
definitely go try it. It's delicious.
No,
Worth
it's
going out
delicious. Especially your people who love IPAs. Go out and try it. People who don't love IPAs, definitely go taste it. You
Yeah.
know.
But don't buy it.
Right.
No. Hey, wait.
Buy it.
Let me
definitely buy
tell
it.
you. Let me tell you. I'm only being honest.
This
Yeah.
guy.
I'm only being honest.
Who invited this guy?
That's the best joke that's ever been told on this show. I'm just throwing that out there.
But if we're gonna say positive, neither me or Victor are for IPAs, and we both
Yeah,
liked this
that's
IPA.
so one of the biggest
So,
things.
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big compliment to you guys.
I've been trying to get them into hoppier sides, and one of the things that was kind of holding them back was I don't really like hoppy, so I've been
Yeah.
kind of working around that. But I think you
I
guys have
said I
definitely broke the
wouldn't
mold
buy
here.
it, but it's fucking delicious.
Yeah.
So,
All right, good.
There you
So
go. make a shirt out of that.
Where can people find you on social media to be able to hear the latest news about Petticola's
So
Brewing?
Twitter, we are at Petticolas. Instagram, we are at Petticolas Brewing. Facebook, we are.
I think it's Petticola's Brewing
Petticolas,
Company.
yeah, it's-
Yeah.
I think it's
You're gonna
Petticoat
find us
of,
there.
Brewing company.
And what's the third one? No, we only do 3. 4th one.
I don't have social media.
Yeah.
You
find him on
two.
Snapchat.
I don't know in the
I
dark
don't
about
know.
most things.
Don't
So-
look for Chris on social media.
So we have Crush It coming out tonight, and we have Good Call going in wide distribution in a couple
in
weeks.
a couple weeks,
right?
yeah.
Do
But
you
if
ha-
you want the good call, come to the tap room tonight too.
Oh, awesome.
Definitely.
Okay.
So both coming out tonight. Yeah.
Do you have anything in the works for the next month or two?
We're redoing our floor.
Yeah,
There you go.
I'm going on vacation, so
Awesome.
Sounds like a plan. I want to go on vacation.
yeah. What is vacation?
I had definitely.
On the weekend.
Where are you going for vacation? Anywhere in particular?
Going to Europe.
Just Europe. It's like, nah, I'm not going to like South Padre.
going to
Europe.
Austin.
Weird. That's cool.
Go to Oak Cliff.
Down the street.
staycation.
Where in Europe are you going?
God, really? We're doing this? Barcelona, Madrid.
Oh, you're doing that.
Paris,
Oh, I'm
London, and
saying-
everything.
Wait.
No.
There was a 90% chance he was going to say your mom's house. So I'm glad.
I'm glad he didn't say that. But wait, when he said I'm going to Europe, he made it seem like, you know what? I've been somewhere
Europe,
1,000
yeah.
fucking times. London.
And we're all out of time here today.
It's really my first time. I swear, it's my first time.
So you would say
can they find us on social media for Dallas Beer Talk, guys?
In Madrid.
In Madrid.
We go around the world in 6 beers, in Portugal, and
No, you can always find us. Number one, you can always find us on DallasOnAir.com. You can find all our videos here posted. You also can find us on Instagram, Dallas Beer Talk, and also on Facebook, Dallas Beer Talk, one word. You can find us always there. Coming up here in the next few weeks, we're going to make a SoundCloud account, and we're going to have a
podcast.
podcast coming up here pretty
Yeah.
soon. So I want to say, dude, appreciate you guys coming out. It's
good time.
It's been fucking fun.
Yeah,
Yes,
right?
thank you
I,
guys for coming.
It's great.
What about you, Ziggy? You got any?
I don't do social media because it is dumb. But you can find me every Thursday at the Backdoor Comedy Club at 8:30. You can find me every Saturday at the Backdoor Comedy Club shows at 8 and 10:15. And I will be hosting the Late Show.
My man.
Nice.
Ziggy.
Sweet, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everybody. Tune in next week. We will see what's going on. But definitely go to the tap room and check out Petticolas.
We have more videos coming.
All right, kids. Does everyone know what time it is? Yeah! That's right. It's time for a